All right, welcome in. We're talking NBA draft here with Bobby Manning, Jimmy Toscano, and Josue Pavon, the Celtics. The Celtics. All
Where
right.
to start?
We already profiled. They had 3 first-round draft picks. They made 2 of them. We profiled Aaron Naismith, shooter out of Vanderbilt already. We're going to talk about the second pick that was made here, which was a bit of a surprise here at 26. There were some players on the board that people were excited about. There's a player or two who went earlier than Pritchard at 26 that maybe we could look at and say, should they have made a move? Should they have packaged a couple picks, try to climb a spot or two, get this guy? Instead, they make the 26th pick. They trade out of the 30th. They grab Payton Prichard, point guard out of Oregon. This is a basketball player. This is a guy who plays. He has production at the college level, but a lot of draft analysts had him a little bit lower, somewhere in the 30s, maybe a second rounder, could be viewed as a reach. We talked about this on the draft show, guys. You like a player, you go get him. At this point, it doesn't really matter what the mocks say when you're picking late in this first round here. So they found their guy. They identified him, fills a need. Maybe they knew they were trading that 30th pick, so they already knew that this is the only player they'd get. They wanted him. They knew they wouldn't get him in the second round. So they did it. They pulled the trigger. Bobby, start with you. You watched a lot. You've actually seen a lot of this guy. Tell us what you think.
Yeah, he was a big-time college basketball player for 4 years. A big-time shooter, shot 40% in 2 of his 3 last seasons at Oregon, goes 4 years there, part of some big ranked teams, and it fits the bill for Ainge. There's a guy who probably reminded him himself, his relentless pursuit, hustling, attacking the rim, pulling up for huge shots. Like, this guy takes risk. He's aggressive, and he's going to try to make plays at that point guard spot, and he's going to matter. Like, you look at some of the picks you take in the late rounds, and it's like those guys, they might play a little bit, they might not in the late first round. If Brad Wanamaker's out the door, and possibly Gordon Hayward too, this is the backup point guard for the Boston Celtics next year for now. So they're trying. The theme of the night was try to produce more bench points than they got last year. And how many post-game shows did we do where we're just like, can we get some bench points? Please, we need bench points. And now they got 2 guys that could do it.
Maybe. Josue?
No, I like that. Bobby brought that up because I think there was a little bit to that. I think, we talked a little bit about Kemba Walker's health and what the second unit is going to look like. I mean, if Gordon Hayward walks, he was a secondary playmaker. To me, he was the second point guard. Yeah, Marcus Smart did a little bit of that, but when Hayward was completely healthy, that was a big part of who he was on the team. And I think that you lose that as well if he walks away. And I think the Celtics are thinking about that. Sure, this guy is a pick that, you could have swapped that pick for a few other guys, but I think the Celtics in the last couple of years, we've seen a pattern of it's not more or less about the skill set of the player, but also who he is off the court, right? Who is he in the locker room? What kind of leader is he? What kind of effort are we going to get from this guy? I think all those sort of play more of a role. They value those. They value that more at this stage of the draft more than they did in the past, because I think they still remember what that team looked like that didn't get along. I mean, that's why, let's face it, a lot of people were surprised that they picked Grant Williams at the time they did, but then they're like, well, wait a minute, his personality, they looked at who he was off the court. I think that plays a part with this guy, and also what he means to the backcourt, and that could look really, really thin after Gordon leaves. So you want to have someone in there in line to sort of get his reps in. I'm not saying this guy's going to go out there and come off the bench right in his first in his rookie year, but maybe he's the next sort of Tremont Waters situation.
Different style of player for sure, and I think we did talk about this in the draft show.
In the sense of like you're not eager to put him in the mix. Like you don't mind sending him to Maine for a little bit. What they did with Tremont.
And that might happen. This was a need. If he sticks and can play any bench minutes, you certainly did need help at the backup point guard position. So again, it could have value, even if it is, 10th man, 9-10, somewhere in there. 8 to 10 minutes a game, even that makes a difference if you can count on that, or if he steps in case of injury or this and that. So there could be some value there. And again, this is the type of player you think can contribute early. I think with the 14th pick, Naismith, I think you're counting on rotation minutes early in his development.
Oh, no, yeah, it's a completely different story, right?
Different story. I don't know whether you do here or not, but you are looking at a capable player. You're hoping just athletically he can hang at this level. Jimmy, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think Bobby and Josue both had some really good points, and John, you as well. I mean, I think obviously we know Ainge was trying to trade those 2 late picks. I mean, I just by seeing him give away 30, I'm sure he would have loved to have taken 30 and 26 and tried to move up a couple spots. So would they have taken Payton, even sooner? I'm not sure, but at the point when they picked 26, they definitely knew they weren't taking 30. So Payton was obviously a guy that they targeted at one point. I think Bobby's point about them thinking about him as a backup guard is valid. But if he's your backup point guard, game one, I mean, you're in trouble. I mean, you don't just. I don't think even though he's a 4-year, as a senior coming out of college. I mean, you got to have
I don't
somebody
think
else.
that's the case.
That's a good point. So the roster's packed. Maybe Wanamaker doesn't come back. There's a risk of a downgrade there if Pritchard is that guy. So you look at Naismith, you look at Pritchard, and I point again to 13 where Kira Lewis goes, an excellent point guard product who fills that need and has huge potential there. And he goes one spot before the Celtics. I wonder how much they actually wanted that guy.
You don't like Kemba Walker, do you, Bobby?
I just love that Bobby's
I'm just
watched a
asking.
ton of. I love that Bobby's watched a ton of Pritchard because that means that he's up at like 1 a.m. regularly watching Oregon.
West Coast
He's just a basketball junkie. He's like, oh, I've seen this guy a ton. It's like, oh, okay.
Before we wrap it on this, just mention that they did trade pick 30 after making those first 2 selections. That was a salary dump. Vinny Sexpants is tied to that one.
So there goes
Poirier.
One of the 20.
How long are you holding that
players. Dude, Poirier era that's an all-time Ainge gaff. Like that's up there with the Yabuselis.
They paid him about $5 million over 2 years.
You paid him the same as 2 years for this guy.
You see drip? You see the drip in and out of the damn arena? This dude, man, I think he had
came in like a
$70,000 suit one day, and it was like he just took the tags off of it. And this is every game he had a new suit.
We were not ready for Vincent Poirier. Certainly not. It's Vinny. It's us, not you. Okay.
Yeah. Memphis might be. Who knows? Yeah. I mean, they got rock and roll scene over there. So
it's me, not you. Okay. You didn't do anything wrong. But
one of the funniest. If it was a trade demand, one of the funniest trade demands in Celtics history.
Oh, yeah.
So that's that. The Vinny era is over. That pick, again, there's a couple players who were still available that some people liked, and we could be looking at a what-if sort of scenario by kicking that pick out there. I already had, you guys know mine, which was the Brandon Clark trade down last year. I was pretty bummed by. I preferred him to Grant Williams. It is what it is. But that's where we are. So they pick 14, pick 26, couple of ready-made, we think, players who might be able to contribute earlier than later in their NBA careers. As for this segment, as I mentioned at the beginning, presented by Manscaped, get 20% off and free shipping with the code GARDEN20 at manscaped.com. Once again, 20% off, free shipping with the code GARDEN20 at manscaped.com. The NBA draft is in the books. What happens next, we don't know, but there's still a lot to be done this offseason. So we're going to keep updating you on all of the latest and bringing you more videos. Stick with us on our YouTube channel here.